Hello, everybody. It is your host, Patricia. I want to welcome you to this episode of The Dialogue. As you know, our mantra is that we're healing souls one conversation at a time. Today, I want to do something a little bit different. So I'm going to start incorporating my devotional time into the podcast because I think it is very important that when you wake up in the morning, the first thing that you should be focused on is getting your mind right to conquer the day. Devotions, which means spending time with God, is very therapeutic to me. It is when I take time, set apart some quiet time, whether I'm eating breakfast or spending time with my daughter, and we would just sit there and I would just open the Bible. Automatically, the first thing that I open to is what I read. The first thing that my eyes land on is the first thing that I actually start to read. And let me tell you, it applies to my life. So I also have a little book. It's a devotional book, and it just has the day and different subjects. And today, when I opened it, it's called Jesus Calling, if you're interested. When I opened it today, it was talking about people pleasing. And so that is actually what we're going to talk about today. People pleasing. And I want to bring it from the perspective of being someone that has endured abuse. As a person that has endured abuse, do you know that your mind is actually groomed to be a people pleaser? Let's define the word abuse. There are many different ways that you can be abused. Mentally, physically, emotionally, sexually, verbally, spiritually. There are so many ways that you can be misused or mishandled. And that is what abuse is. When you are not used in the proper way. I'll give you an example. You're in a relationship with someone and you think you're in love, but the only time that they call you is to borrow money or use your car. Okay, you are being abused. The people pleasing comes into effect because you remain in that relationship only because you want some type of attention, but what you're getting is not the maximum of what you could be receiving. So you are people pleasing. That person that you are doing the service for is pleased with you when you're doing something with or for them. They are pleased. The horrible thing about people pleasing is that a lot of times it leaves you as the person that is affected by being a people pleaser in a position of being overworked, exhausted, irritated, unfulfilled. Because as you know, the person that you're pleasing, they could care less about doing anything for you, making sure that you're okay, making sure that you're in a good place, because they only call you, contact you, reach out to you when they need something. And that, ladies and gentlemen, in a nutshell is what people pleasing is. People that are abused, say for instance, in your childhood, you have been molested, you have been touched. You were used improperly, cleaning the house, doing things that you shouldn't have been doing at a very young age. And don't get me wrong, I'm not talking about chores or healthy forms of preparing you for adulthood. I'm talking about when you were used improperly or misused. Okay, you were the maid of the house. You cooked everything. You did everything. You didn't have any parental provision or supervision. I apologize. And so a lot of times when you are abused in your childhood, what happens is that it sets you up to be groomed to be a people pleaser. Because so many people in their childhood, if they had bad parental experiences, oftentimes what they do, if it was from your parents, you do a lot to gain their attention. You do a lot to gain their love. You're working to gain something back from them. And with a parental relationship, a lot of times many of us didn't have the opportunity to just simply be children. And so what happens is that follows you into your adulthood, and you can't decipher the difference between when you're doing something to help yourself and when you're doing something to please someone else because you were giving such of the minimal in your relationship with your parents. When you are in the position of being a people pleaser, the main issue is that not only are you not serviced and your needs not met, you are not able to fully devote yourself to God, which means that the relationship and the small amount of attention that you receive or the small amount of affirmation that you receive actually becomes an idol. And what happens with that is you idolize it so much that you're actually depreciating in your value You're actually losing yourself to give so much to this relationship and or this person and or this job or whatever activities or things that you're involved in. People pleasing is not healthy. It actually sucks the life out of you because your dreams, your goals, your visions, your likes, your wants, your needs are never met. But at the forefront of your mind, it is all about pleasing this person. What makes them happy? Where do they want to go? What do they enjoy? What kind of food do they like? And so you put this person at the forefront of your mind, your thoughts, your to-do list. And what happens is, like I stated, it becomes an idol because God is not there. And you're not listening to God tell you stop, don't do. Don't aid them anymore. Don't assist them anymore. And you actually become an enabler in the situation, which is unhealthy and toxic. If you are someone that has gone through abuse, you have to, as I stated, weigh your motives for your relationship. Because we all know in our lives, we will get people in our lives that are not able to give anything to us. Those are the people that we might have to serve or help or assist. Meaning you have to categorize your relationships. Is this a reciprocal relationship where I give and they give? Not meaning that you give because they give, but it's because it's a balance and that there's love in a relationship and that they're actually concerned about what's important to you as you are concerned about what's important to them. Meaning you're not being taken advantage of. You're not being abused and misused, as we stated at the beginning of this episode. It's healthy. You enjoy it. You don't feel like you're being dragged or made to do it. And I'm going to give you a couple pointers in regards to people pleasing. And this is how you will know. Number one, if someone only reaches out to you and contacts you when they need something, that's a prime indication. Number two, if this person that reaches out to you or contacts you, if when you desire to do something, go somewhere or have a need met or serviced, they are apprehensive as far as doing it, meaning hesitant. They don't really want to do it. That's another indication. And number three, which is one of my favorites, is the word no. When you tell that person no, they become upset or become manipulative or act different towards you. That is an indication. These are three indications that let you know you are in toxic, unhealthy relationships where you are doing the people pleasing. And once again, you're being abused and misused. When this happens, ladies and gentlemen, you have to simply take the time, sit down, assess, and evaluate the relationship. Evaluate it. How do I feel in this relationship? Am I myself? Am I making myself do things that I don't want to do? And then ultimately, you can pray. That's probably the first route you want to go. Ask God, Lord, show me this person's true colors and motives in my life. Is this a relationship or a situation that you want me to remain in or step away from? Because do you understand? People pleasing can go on for years. It can take your whole life. You will never get to what you like, what you want to do, how you want to operate in life. You won't meet your maximum self because when you start to outgrow the people pleasing, you also start to outgrow those people. And all of this came about because of the devotional that I read. But also last night I had an opportunity to watch a movie. It was about Billie Holiday. And I don't know if you have an opportunity to watch it or not. I would be cautious because it had a lot of nudity and sexual scenes in it. And it also talked about drug usage and things of that nature. But when I watched it, I saw a beautiful woman. And I don't know if this is just a true story or if it's just a depiction on the movie, because we do have to be careful because we know people will produce movies for money, but sometimes the story is not at its authentic value. Okay. That some of the story has been fabricated. However, In this movie, we see a beautiful woman that is gifted and talented. And it stated that she had been raped at 10 years old. And she also saw a horrible lynching, which is the reason for her song Strange Fruit. It is a song about her witnessing someone being lynched. And so in her life, what happens is she was a child working in a brothel. She would run errands in a brothel when she was a little girl. And I'm not for sure if they were alluding to that's how she got raped. However, when she was a young child, her mother also put her out. And she was saying, you know, Mom, I want to stay here with you. I want to be here with you. And so it seems as though it was nothing that she could do to please her mother. And the relationship was really toxic. So when she got older, you know, she just had casual sexual partners. And the man that actually loved her was the man that she kicked to the side. But the man that was abusive to her, the men that were abusive to her, that took her money and used her for singing gigs and things like that, those were the ones that she liked. Because in the movie it was said, for the one that she was happy with, she said, I can't do this because I can't control this. The feeling of it was too good because she was finally being pleased. Her needs were finally being met. So much to the point that she wasn't used to it. She was used to abusive men that would take her money, or she would have friends that she would use heroin with. The ones that were unhealthy were the ones that she loved, but the ones that loved her, she didn't want any connection with them. And this is how deep people pleasing can go. You can be gifted, you can be talented, you can travel around the world, but your value is based on what you do for people and the abuse and how they treat you. And this sparked my eye. It opened my eyes to so much stuff. Some people, when they're abused and misused, they're groomed to people please, but they're groomed to not please themselves. And so unfortunately, she died from cirrhosis of the liver. You know, she was attacked a lot as far as regarding this song that she, you know, distributed and marketed and things like that. And she needed someone to love her because she was treated so bad by a certain group of people for so long. But like she said, she didn't understand that type of good love. And so for people pleasers, it is hard sometimes to finally allow someone in your life to take off the mask and say, I do need someone to love me. I do need someone to be there. I do need, as well as want, someone to support me and care about what is important to me. And so it is my prayer that as you listen to this and the unveiling of revelation comes into your heart, that you understand you are worth being loved. You are worth being seen. You are worth being paid attention to, not for what you do, but simply for who you are. And it is my prayer that if the season has passed for people in your life, that you are so focused on pleasing that you would let them go. May have to work on yourself a little bit and let people in your life that are willing to serve you out of a heart of love and grateful to do it. And don't put false obligations on you to do and be something that you are never meant to be, which is a people pleaser. So that's what we have for today. Thank you so much for tuning in. We're going to keep going down the line and breaking down these mental health issues that are taking people's lives away, because a lot of people don't understand these are mental health issues because they come from the mind, which affects your behavior. It affects how you speak. It affects who you connect to, what you do, occupations you go into, all from the mind. Don't forget to share this content with someone else. Follow the broadcast. Don't forget that we are healing souls one conversation at a time. Such of a blessing. And I'm humbled to be able to speak to you about this content. Stay tuned. We will be back with more information and content at a later date. Have a good day, everybody.